I, Twinkle Jain, warmly welcome you to this online workshop on public speaking hosted by Mevisha Foundation. The Mevisha Foundation empowers underprivileged communities through education, training, and opportunities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Vikrant Singhal, the founder and director of Mevisha Foundation, and our esteemed speaker, Ms. Prachi Kukreja, an international certified image consultant and soft skills trainer who help professionals enhance their presence and skills. Yes, Prachi. If you want to add something, please do.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the warmest introduction, like always. Okay, everybody, my sincere request is for all of you to switch your videos on. Come on, let's make it a very interactive session. And anybody who attended the last session also? Can I see a raise of hands for people who also attended the last session? I did the last one, I think last month. And it was on body language training. Oh, we have a rather okay, peaceful audience, I'd say. Okay, Sakshi, I see you. Can you switch on your video? Come on, guys. Otherwise, this session, you will not be able to reap maximum benefits. Come on, let's switch our videos on. No? Not interested? All right. I just wish and hope then, if you don't want to switch your videos on, that you remain, very, very interactive along the way, because this session is something that requires us to be interactive. Otherwise, we'll not be able to make good use of it, okay? And we all know the topic, right? Everybody? Okay, some reactions, something in the chat. You don't want to talk to me? No problem. Write things in the chat. I see Radhika, Abhishek, Rimpi, Himanshu, Shruti, Dolly, Sakshi, everybody replying in the chat. Come on, guys, let's make it interactive. नहीं तो आपके लिए कुछ भी relevance नहीं हो पाएगा. There will be no takeaway. Manish, I see your reaction. Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Let's not delay it further, and we can start the session. Okay. Is my screen visible to everybody? Yes? Okay. So anybody who wants to go forward and give me, help me explain what they see in the picture. I give you a minute. You can go unmute yourselves and explain to me what is your interpretation of this picture right in front of you. Anybody? Please unmute yourself. Let's see. Thank you, Sakshi, for switching your video on. I see you. Okay. Who would it be? Come on, guys. Let's make it very, very quick. Thank you, Shruti. Am I speaking your name right, Shruti? Yes? Okay,
it's
great.
Shruti. Yes, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go ahead explaining what you think this picture is? What do you think your interpretation of this picture is? In whatever Hindi, English, however you feel comfortable.
The picture is about a person who just want to know about animals, maybe, or maybe he's little disturbed and he's just sitting on a chair and watching his surroundings and observing that how that these animals are surviving in that deserted area. So maybe he's getting motivation from them, and he just want to rejuvenate himself and want to go back in his situation wherever he has come back.
Well, very well said. Beautiful explanation. All right. Anybody else who wants to share their interpretation of what do they think this picture is about? Yes, Manish.
Hi, good evening. This is Manish.
Good
so this seems to
evening.
me as a peaceful vacation.
Oh, this seems to be a peaceful vacation. Lovely.
For
Short
both.
and sweet. For both? the elephant, okay, the Samba and the man? Is that what
Yes.
you mean? Oh, lovely.
And the elephant also going somewhere else.
Okay, probably just catch some
Manishi,
water.
is this you?
Yes, I am, but I'm sorry, there's some problem in my camera actually.
Not
so
a
that's why I'm
problem.
not able to switch it on.
Just give
So
me
sorry.
a few seconds, Prachi. Just Manishi, I would like to introduce Manishji also.
Nahin, please don't.
Nahin, just a few seconds only. He is also is founder of a NGO Ek Niwala. and
Oh,
they are
lovely.
doing great job providing food to the people who are staying in outside the hospital and everywhere, underprivileged communities, and in a very large scale.
Oh, that's lovely. So nice to talk to you, Manish. I
That's,
hope I could have seen you also.
I would just try resetting and all those things definitely, but that's very
No
humble
problem.
that's very humble introduction. Thank you so much for this, and looking forward to this session. It's really looking to a very good session, definitely.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you. All right. So moving on, has anybody heard about this glossophobia? Anybody aware of what this is? Come on, guys. I see Shruti has unmuted herself. Rajveer, I see you. Thank you so much for switching your video on. Okay. Anybody heard of this? Okay, give me a reaction. You don't want to show me your face? Okay, don't want to talk to me? Okay, give me reactions. Come on. Shubha wants to speak something. Okay. All right.
I think fear of public speaking or something like that. Is it similar to that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So glossophobia is the medical term which we call for the fear of public speaking. And we'd be surprised to know that 85% of the population is nervous when it comes to speaking in public. I mean, it's a startling number to me. So the fact when I was learning this back a few years back, and I was like startled that how is it possible that 85% of our world population is scared to speak in public, and that is what the study shows. So it is a startling fact. But do you think everybody is a born speaker? Do you think this is how everybody was born? So we see so many famous personalities around me, right? Think about any celebrity to start with. Then we have entrepreneurs. All of them are such great speakers. Do you think all of them were born speakers? Do you think they started off like that? Were they fed while they were born? Did their mothers give them lessons to public speaking? No, because if you think about it, this 85% cannot match with all the amount of great speakers that we have around us. Think about anybody you admire, somebody from the movie world, or even entrepreneurs, or people who are philanthropists, anybody. These people were never born speakers, right? Okay, this man we all know, right? Can somebody tell me still? Who is this? Wow. We have a silent audience today. That's okay. So Mahatma Gandhi, right? And we know this man very well. This man has been etched in our histories, okay? This man could not string like two words together to form like a sentence. Mahatma Gandhi was that one person who was extremely fearful of public speaking. He would not go to dinners and evening parties and places where anybody would ask him questions. He would ditch them totally. There was a time when he had to present himself as a lawyer in the court, and then all he could manage was that first sentence. He could not speak anything beyond that. And then his assistant had to come up and then take over the situation. That is a different story. But this is the man who led that independence movement, right? What do you think transformed in him? He was not a born speaker, we know for sure. He was not even a speaker while he was practicing law. But how did this person lead to the independence movement? That becomes like a great question to all of us. Before we can find that out, let's see what are the common symptoms of public speaking. What do you think when you're very fearful of public speaking? What happens to you? What are the symptoms your body shows up to you? Anybody? Come on, guys. Quick answers. Is there something in the chat that I cannot see? Okay.
Hello.
I could not. Yes.
Hello.
I
Good
can
evening,
hear
ma'am.
you. Good evening, Dolly. Please go
Ma'am,
ahead.
actually, we feel nervousness. Our heart starts beating fastly,
Absolutely.
and a little bit of shivering.
Yes. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. I see Himanshu in the chat saying hesitation. So So my question is, Himanshu, how does your body show that hesitation? Sweating, beautiful, exactly. Great words, exactly what I was looking for.
Stammering.
Stammering, lovely, beautiful. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so the basic, or if I'd say, of course, there can be a lot many, but the basic ones that kind of everybody faces is these. There's increased heart rate, you know, right before going on the stage, there's this, your heart is pumping so fast and you don't know what to do about it, right? There's hesitation. There a lot of times there come in words like, that is what totally gives away that you're underconfident, correct? What is this? This is fear of public speaking. This is that nervousness. This is that anxiety, which is making you say all of those things. Okay. Then we have so much sweating, which you guys mentioned. There's shaking and quivering voice. What is that quivering voice? You might have heard that there is a little bit of shrill, like the way I'm speaking right now. That because your words and your speech is not clear. That is what we call a quivering voice. Then there's shortness of breath. You tend to really not be able to pull off words in a sentence, right? Understand? And then there's, of course, the want to go to the washroom even if you might not need it. So these are the basic common symptoms which all of us kind of readily face. But then comes that bigger question. We know what happens. We know that we feel this way. But how do you really ace public speaking? That becomes a major question to all of us, correct? The very first and the most important thing that I also spoke about in my last session is first impression. When I was young, I was taught this very clearly by my mother. That anywhere we'd go out, anywhere was a place that had to have like a public appearance, or for that matter, meet some, long lost cousins of ours, right? So my mother would always say, dress your part, speak nicely, smile. Why? Because all of this is first impression. And I'm sure all of us have been taught this way. It takes just 7 seconds to make that first impression, really. Okay? But what is it that forms a first impression for all of you? It is your appearance, your body language, and your speech. I am an internationally certified image consultant, and this is what I exactly work on. I give you, tips and tricks to improve all of these things for you to form an image that works the best for you, correct? But today we are talking about the speech part. Last time we did speak about the body language. This time we are focusing right on your speech. How do you ace that public speaking, correct? So now we'll go stepwise, okay? First of all, we'll start with things you have to keep in mind while you're prepping for it. Never forget, in any process, the very important part is preparing for your job, okay? Now, for example, I knew I had to come at this place. It's not like I did not prepare for it. It never happens. The biggest of the person is going to prepare their speech. Now, preparation, the means of preparation can be different, okay? Some people might want to mug up their things. Some might just want to brush through it. Preparation, the ways of preparation can be very different. But the thing is to prepare in advance. Now, what are the things that you have to keep in mind? First and the foremost thing is your visualization. All right. Everybody's heard about visualization. It is a very, I'd say, a trendy concept nowadays. People call it manifestation, visualization. Anybody who wants to share some thoughts on visualization? Come on, guys. Anybody? जल्दी से unmute करके बता दो. No one? सुना नहीं है? Have you guys not heard about it? Or how is it?
I think it's like, can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think it's like playing something as if it's happening in real before you and visualizing that in the visualizing it in your thoughts. Maybe, I mean, something.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So imagining as it has already happened to you can I put it that way? Yeah. So
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Ma'am, it can also be creating mental scenarios, images in our mind about the situation.
Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Dolly. Anybody else who wants to go? I'm also now keeping a look at your chat. So if you want to type in, go ahead. All right. So visualization in terms of public speaking. Now let me relate it for you. Yes, it is thinking about as if the situation has already happened. Is a lot to do with your manifestation. But when I say visualization for public speaking, remember to think about everything. Now think about the most stupendous amount of things. You know, you have to think, imagine that your public speaking, your speech has gone amazing. How do you do that? By visualization. Start from that you have reached the venue. How would you reach? Have you reached by public transport? Is it a car that you've taken? Okay. Post that you are entering in. Do you have a bag in your hand? Imagine the minutest details and imagine them all to be in your favor. Correct? Now, I always tend to imagine what my outfit is going to be for that day. Okay. So I plan that very, very prior. So when I'm imagining, I also have my outfit in place. I kind of know what my hair has to be, what kind of bag am I going to take along with it. And now my manifestation and visualization goes in this process. I imagine myself going on stage. I imagine if there's going to be a podium, how will I react? If there's going to be a hand mic, how am I going to react? Maybe the group is small enough to not have all these items at all, and how my voice and my pitch is going to be then. Imagine every small detail. I always imagine my audience to be clapping at the end, that loud sound that we hear, right? So it's all about visualizing, correct? Imagine all the small details that you can always remember. Perfect. Number 2 is to record. Last time, why I chose this topic was that last time when I was, giving a session on body language, I think I had 4 or 5 questions just on public speaking. People used to come, they ask this question, we get nervous, we get very, very anxious. So here are all those tips. And I'd say very, very important is your practice, your preparation, which involves recording yourself. Stand in front of a mirror, also keep a camera there. So when you're talking to you in front of a mirror, you see a real person, correct? You know how you're reacting. Plus, when you revisit the recording later, you know what gestures have gone wrong. You know where you see unnecessary pauses. You know where your reactions are, say, for example, too mild or too loud, correct? So record yourself and then practice. Like I begin, there is nothing that can beat practice, and no amount of practice is too much practice when it comes to public speaking. If you want to, it's always great to practice in front of a mirror of your room, or even the washroom mirrors. I don't like practicing in front of the mirror. What works better for me is waking up. Okay, early in the morning, I do my practices, waking up and practicing in front of the washroom mirror. I don't know, that has been, I don't have a logic for that, but that has been very, very helpful for me. So when you start doing all of this is when you begin to realize what is working for you, correct? So again, a lot of practice has to go into that as well. Fine. Moving forward. I cannot emphasize any more on this. I did an entire session last time, but to sum it up, okay? Public speaking, yes, it does involve your speech, but what is it that we really get nervous of? Okay, so major part we really get nervous of is imagining that number of people who are sitting around us. We think those people are judging us. You think that all those eyes are just on you, correct? Everybody is silent, all eyes on you situation. That kind of leaves us nervous. So how do you overcome that is also through your body language. You never want to give away that you are very, very nervous about a certain situation, and specifically through your body language. Okay, the speech we are practicing, we try to memorize it for us, okay. But your body language should not say otherwise. If you are fidgeting a lot, correct? You're doing this, there's a lot of rings that you're playing with. If there is no eye contact that you're able to maintain, like I'm talking to you guys, right? But still, if I begin to look here and there and like present it to you, one, there is no personal touch, you don't like it, correct? Why is this woman looking there and speaking to us? There has to be a personal touch, okay? There has to be a pleasant smile on your face. If somebody is saying something, appreciate it. If there are pauses in between, don't maintain a blank face, correct? If this is how my resting face is, you guys would not be interested. While having just a very small, pleasant smile, I don't want you to laugh out loud, but having a pleasant smile on your face, while you're on stage makes you look very, very pleasant. Plus, people want to notice you. They want to listen to what you are saying. And then very, very important part is your posture. I don't want you to droop down. Be very, very vigilant of how you are carrying yourself in terms that your body is straight, you're not drooping down. It does not look like a lousy stance. Correct? And yes, Poonam, absolutely. Smile can solve many things in a very positive way. I totally agree. A lot of times, we are in situations where we kind of do not agree with it. Correct? And we are there. We cannot help with that also. A simple small smile can just take away a lot of extra effort from your side. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. And then the last point we come on to is your open stance. What do I mean by open stance? Now, I am imagining that if you are in a public space giving a speech, correct, there is going to be a large number of audience for you. See, large can be 10 to 15 people is also a group of audience, correct? Now, that is when it is very important for you to have an open stance. When you're talking to a group of people, open your hands. Don't stand this way. Okay. Don't cross your hands, stand this way. Try to open your feet also a little bit, correct? Up till your shoulders is fine. Then use your hands, look left, right, center. Just don't concentrate on that straight, only this frame. Don't look at people here. Try and scan the entire room very slowly and steadily. So that is what we call an open stance, which is extremely important when I talk to you about public speaking. So all this, you have to be prepared before you give that speech. This is all in the preparation part, mind you. Body language is never going to come to you on the stage. If you think, okay, I have thought about it, and now you see on the stage, I'm going to maintain a great posture. No, you have to practice it. When you are in a situation which is giving you nervousness, your body is going to react in its way. And to counter that, we have the power of your body language, for which, again, you need to practice. And make mirror your best friend. And try to adapt the fact and soak it in that you look lovely in a mirror, for anybody who does not like to see themselves in the mirror. Yes, Poonam, posture matters a lot. It really does. But as a matter of fact, it does not come to us naturally. You have to practice it. Make sure your head is straight. It's parallel. Your chin is parallel to the ground. Okay. All the 5 points are in a straight line. What are the 5 points? The shoulder, the upper back, the lower back, then your calves, and then the back of your foot. Correct? All these 5 points, when they are in a straight line, is when we call it as a straight posture. Fine. Any questions we have up till now? Good, bad, no, yes, something? Okay. I believe everybody is good. Okay. Now, the D-Day, the final moment, is when you are on stage. Again, go back to that visualization part. Know that you have already thought about it. You know how the venue is. What you need to know is the place. Now you have to scan the place. Where are the extra, tables and chairs kept? What kind of audience have you seen? Every time the audience can be very different, okay? You can never expect what kind of audience do you have. A lot of times I have a very chatty audience. Other times people would not want to speak. Sometimes when there are students, there's also that issue with people talking in between a lot. So when you get on stage, first scan the room. When you scan the room, you know what kind of people you're dealing with. Is when you can tweak your interactions a little bit, correct? That is when you can naturally see, okay, I have a lot of students, so this is the kind of language that I need to use, so I can connect with them a little bit more. But that does not in any way change your material. So coming to your material, what is very important is to know your material. Now you are not going to get your confidence if you don't know what to deliver. Now, if my topic for the day is public speaking and I focus my entire attention on just having a great body language and maintaining a smile, then that is not going to make me sound confident, because the course material is absolutely important. And I'm sure if you're there to speak about something, you need to be very, very aware of what course material you're presenting, right? So know your material, and then this is a very important tip. that have the first minute of your speech absolutely prepared. And when I say prepared, if you want to memorize it, great, go ahead, memorize it, no problem. I don't want you to memorize the rest of the speech so that it can also be natural. But take this as a very important tip, is to memorize the first minute. Keep it prepared. Now, why do I say so? Can anybody tell me? Why am I saying don't learn or mug up your entire speech and I just say that have that first minute, the first 60 seconds prepared? Why would I say that? Anybody? Come on, guys. Let's be quick. Unmute yourself, write it in the chat. Come on. Nobody? समझ नहीं
Because
आया?
first impression is the best impression.
Okay, Diana, I hear that. First impression is the best impression. It's very important, like we also discussed. Lovely. What else? What else can be the reason? Come on, guys. It's not that difficult. Think about it a little bit.
It builds a confidence among ourselves.
Absolutely, Sakshi and Diana, both of you spot on. So what happens is, I'll tell you. Imagine if you don't start off on the right foot, okay? When you don't start off speaking the correct lines, you lose your confidence in the very first minute of your speech. That is when things are going to go downhill. Okay? You're going to think, ho gaya, ab to sab kuch kharab ho gaya, correct? We don't want our brain to think that way. We are tricking our brain into having the first minute perfect. And now, even if after that you would want to, put in some extra things on the spot, go ahead, do that, no problem. But when you have discussed, you've spoken that first minute very, very clearly, you have tricked your brain into, oh, I can do this. Yeah. So first minute is very important. And then we say speak slowly. Okay. When I mention a point, if you notice, I pause. I ask you guys. Why am I asking you guys again? Because I cannot see your faces. If it's a public, offline setting, then I can see your faces. I'll get to know if you're able to get it or not. Samajh mein aaya ki nahi? Do I think I need to put it in some other words, reframe it in some way or no? Correct? So when you speak slowly, what are you doing? Come on. What do you think? If we speak slowly, what happens? Why is it important to speak slow? Yes, everybody, come on. Why is it important to speak slow? Will it not bore my audience if I'm speaking slowly? They'd want to sleep. Easy to understand. Okay, Sanya. Yes.
You speak slowly, you memorize the next points, what you're going to speak.
Okay, smart. Okay, so you're saying it's important for me as a speaker because I can think about what I want to say next. Lovely. Beautiful. Anybody else? Okay, for clarity. Okay, easy to understand for everybody. Okay. Anybody else? The message is clear. Okay. To be more confident, deliver effectively with control. Lovely. Love that, Ayushi. Language is easy to understand. Okay. So what we come at collectively is that for our audience to easily understand what we are trying to say, to kind of register. अब इतनी सारी knowledge दे दी पर pause नहीं करूँगी तो I'll be running like a rail, right? So I need to pause, give people the time to comprehend. उसको अपने तरीके से सोचने के लिए भी time चाहिए उनको. Correct? And an amazing point that Diana pointed out was that you also buy yourself time to think about what is the next step. Correct? But then also it is for you as a speaker to scan the room. That you are sharing so much knowledge, is your audience able to comprehend it or not? Correct? So most importantly, understand how your audience feels about your message. Are they able to register the message or no? Having said that, it's not like you have to go very, very slow that people get bored also, okay? So when I say speak slow, take important pauses in between, right? So if I say, okay, all of this has happened, now I've told you that these are the tips, do you think you will not feel nervous? It is natural to feel nervous. It's not like your heart is not going to beat, correct? It is still going to beat. And a little bit of nervousness is always healthy, right? We've heard of this, correct? कि अगर थोड़े से भी nervous नहीं हो रहे, then there is something wrong. Are you overconfident then? हो सकता है, correct? So थोड़ा बहुत nervousness is good. It's good. It tricks your brain that there's something something great that's going to happen to you, something huge, that there's a huge step that you are taking. So it is training your brain also. So in some way, a little bit of nervousness is okay. But ऐसा भी नहीं थी that you're not able to present. भाग ही जाए उस जगह से. Correct? So now, if we have that nervousness, how do I overcome that? One very important tip is your breathing exercises. Take very quiet right before getting on stage. A lot of times there are backstages. Okay, take the quiet spot. Take in 5 deep breaths. You would not have a lot of time. You would have people around you. Take 5 deep breaths for yourself, and that is going to bring you back to senses. Correct? It's going to bring your focus to center, because we cannot sit and have a meditation session there. Correct? So what is the best alternative we can do is do a lot of breathing exercises. If you go on the internet, type different types of breathing exercises, you are going to get some 6 or 7 breathing exercises. All right? That is one. Now, what is the other thing that we can do? If you can see here, what are these? Come on, guys, what are these?
Sense organs.
Beautiful. Yes. So use all of your 5 senses. Put them to use right before you go on the stage to deliver a speech. Interesting. How do I do that? Let's start from here. Now, of course, you're seeing a lot of things, but what I want you to do is scan. Be aware. Now, if I'm saying, okay, now I'm starting the process of using all my 5 sense organs, this is a thoughtful thing you are doing, correct? You've put thought and effort into it, correct? So you have to have a look at the audience, scan the room, be aware, okay? Register, let it all register in your brain. ऐसा नहीं होने देना कि बस process है तो skip करके देख लिया, नहीं. Let it all register, soak it all in through your eyes, correct? देखो, okay, कितने लोग आए हैं, पीछे की कितनी सीट्स खाली हैं. डू यू थिंक कि आपको स्टेज पे जाते ही कुछ लोग बहुत स्कैटर्ड बैठे होंगे? बहुत बार होगा, आगे की चेयर खाली होंगी, पीछे की भरी हुई होंगी. पीपल डोंट लाइक टू सिट इन द फ्रंट, करेक्ट? So when you scan, you know that my space is such that once I go on stage, introduce myself, the first thing I have to do is ask people to come forward. Correct? Scattered audience में energy scatter होती है. आपकी speech कभी भी अच्छी deliver नहीं होगी. 1. Number 2, can we smell things around us? Definitely कोई एक smell होगी. Either that's the perfume of somebody who's around you, or the room smells a certain way. Every place has its own smell. Try and feel that. Register that in your brain. And you know what happens is, when I think back upon my a lot of my speeches, what I happen to realize is I happen to relate places with their smells. वो इतनी ज़्यादा मेरे में register हो जाता है मेरे दिमाग में that I take these 5 things very seriously, that I tend to identify places with their smells. Perfume से ऐसा हम बहुत करते हैं. We tend to identify people based on the perfume, correct? Then here, try and hear at least 2 sounds around you. 2 different types of sounds around you. क्या पता there's a fan, or you hear some construction that's happening outside. कुछ भी हो सकता है. 2 different types of sounds that are happening around you. So no, understand, let it register in your brain. Correct? And then your touch. Yeah, feel yourself. ऐसे तो नहीं लग रहा हाथ पैर feel नहीं हो रहे. बहुत बार जब हम बहुत nervous होते हैं ना, समझ ही नहीं आता क्या हो रहा है. ऐसा लगता है we're not able to feel our hands, we're not able to feel our legs. वो नहीं होने देना. Touch some rough surfaces. वो कुछ स्मूथ टच करोगे इतना समझ नहीं आएगा, कुछ रफ टच करो, इट विल रियली हेल्प. करेक्ट? नहीं लगता आपको, स्टिल लगता है आप बहुत नर्वस होते हो. बहुत एक सैंड पेपर का स्मॉल पीस. हैव यू गाइस सीन अ सैंड पेपर? बहुत रफ पीस होता है किसी भी स्मूथ सरफेस को. आई थिंक कारपेंटर्स यूज दैट अ लॉट. वो आपके वुड को बहुत ज्यादा नीट एंड क्लीन करने के लिए, सॉफ्ट करने के लिए, स्मूथ करने के लिए दे यूज दैट रफ सरफेस, रफ शीट ऑफ पेपर. टेक दैट. And if you think कि आप बहुत ज़्यादा nervous होते हो, नहीं समझ में आता, so try rub your hands against it. It will really help. And then Last one is your taste. कुछ और नहीं है taste करने को, have a sip of water. Correct? या फिर कोई आप वो भी लेके जाना चाहो, some candy or something, but that we suggest against, but still you can always taste water. Correct? Okay. Up next, I might still be very afraid of the number of people who are sitting in front of me. What do I do? इतनी crowd देख के, इतना audience देख के मुझे घबराहट हो जाती है. What do I still do? And this is a very famous and yet a very funny technique to believe. It said that all you have to do is go on the stage, take a small round, walk on the stage, walk on wherever you are speaking for a moment, scan the room, and immediately picture your entire audience in their pajamas. It is going to sound funny to you right now. And believe me, when I was learning this, I was like, this is impossible to do. Like, how can you imagine people sitting in shirts in front of you? I usually do corporate trainings or it's with schools or everything. Back in the days when I used to feel nervous, it's like people are sitting in their formals, their shirts, their blazers, their suits. How do I imagine them in their pajamas? But the trick to do that is go on the stage, walk for a moment, okay? Till the time there's a mic that's going to set up, till the time people are going to settle in, till the time all these things are happening, go and imagine those people in pajamas. I swear it's going to scratch all the seriousness out of them, and then you will feel absolutely comfortable. Yeah? Okay, all these tips, we started off with what you should do before you are preparing. We spoke about how first impressions are very, very important. We spoke about your body language. Then we spoke about how to get away with nervousness, how to get away with anxiety. But do you think all this can make you a great speaker, or is there something still left? Come on, guys. This is a good question to ask yourself. I mean, all these tips and tricks, and I'm telling you, all these are very, very practical. Put them to use and you are going to do lovely. Believe me. It is going to take time for you to implement all of these. Yes. I'm not saying this is a one-day job. I was not able to do in one day myself. But what is something other than this that you need to be a great speaker? Come on, I'm waiting. Nobody? Nobody? Anybody wants to give it a try?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. I'm saying that we have discussed a lot of points on how to control your nervousness, how to control your anxiety, how should you prepare for your speech before, how should you be on the stage. But what is that one element you need other than all of this thing to be a great speaker?
Patience.
Convincing kaise sound karoge? Patience.
Patience.
Okay. What else?
Confidence.
Patience. Confidence. ठीक है. Lovely. Yes, confidence is needed. पर nervousness से, anxiety से confidence lose कर देते हो. These are the things that make you lose confidence, correct?
Yeah,
what
but
else?
We have to be confident now, whatever is there.
Yes. Yes, lovely. I love that enthusiasm. Okay, what else? Come on, guys. Have you guys not given public speeches before, or you're too scared to even think about it? Chat mein likh do if you don't want to speak it. There's one major thing that we are really, really missing.
You should start speaking publicly.
Okay.
While for
Yes.
short time, 1 minute speech, 2 minute speech, like that, you should increase your time span.
Lovely. Yes. Start small. That is a great, I'd say, suggestion to everybody who's kind of starting off public speaking or is scared or in any way wants to improve. Start with small places. Lovely. Presence of mind. Rimpy says presence of mind. Yes. Very, very important. Specifically when you have various type of crowds. And I'm assuring you of that every time you're going to get a different audience. Sometimes it's so interactive that you're not able to deliver what you have and you exceed the time. Correct? And then sometimes you prepared some amount and then you finish that in 20 minutes, what to do for the next 40 minutes. Yeah. So this is bound to happen, and that is where presence of mind is very, very important. But to be honest, something that is very important for you how to speak on the stage in a sudden situation. I'll circle back to this point, Sakshi, when we get to the Q&As. If I forget, you can please remind me of that. Okay. So coming back to the point of what is very, very important before to ace that public speaking is your passion. Whenever there's something you are talking about, to sound convincing, to sound relatable, to sound trustworthy to your audience, what is extremely important is your passion on the topic that you're speaking. Okay? Okay. Sometimes the topic is such that you might not, I'd say, might not have experienced the same. अगर ऐसा situation है, then trick your brain into believing that it has happened with you, that you know how it feels. Say, for example, you're asked to speak about underprivileged students. Okay, let's say. That's what, if you think you have had a great life, but you have to feel about it, I'd go online, I'd find case studies and read. I'd go out, I'd interview some people, I'd ask them questions. Forget it. I'd ask people, my health children to come up, tell me how they feel, what are the challenges they face. So try and understand that. When you understand that, you will see what are the points that hit you the most. And that is where you develop a passion for a topic. Correct? Any questions on this? No? And circling back to Mahatma Gandhi, this is how he became a great speaker. Yes, there were things like preparation that was involved. There was a lot of practice that was involved. Okay, there are many tips, tricks, everything. He did ace all of that. He put in effort. He put in the time to practice all of that. But above all, there was a passion. There was a purpose. What was the purpose? That he wanted to, he urged the people of his country. He wanted the people of his country to be independent, his country to be independent. So there was an agenda. There was a purpose and there was passion to lead that independence movement for his own country. Yeah. So to sound absolutely convincing to your audience, you need to really feel for the topic. Yeah. I see Himanshu. Thank you so much for agreeing. All right. Now, are there any questions? Any questions? No? सब कुछ समझ में आ गया? Yeah. Okay, now I can take that question back where Sakshi asked me how to speak on stage in a sudden situation. Okay. Always, Sakshi, when I say, when you are giving, say, a speech, presenting something to people, you are bound to have questions raised. Fine. There's always a 10-minute to a 15-minute session which is open for the audience to ask you anything. Correct? Also, of course, this is a training format, so it is bound to happen. Even otherwise, it is courteous to ask your audience if they have anything they want to discuss with you, talk to you about what you just mentioned. Yeah. So a large part of preparing for your speech involves thinking about what your audience may ask you. Think about it. पहले ही सोच लो क्या possible questions हो सकते हैं. When I am preparing for a new topic, I go ahead, explain to my friends, and then I'm like, okay, now you guys raise questions. What do you think तुम्हारे दिमाग में question आ रहा है? So I'm prepared. I sit down my family, I sit down my friends together. And then there's a training that is happening for them. Okay. They come up and then my family is very picky. Okay. They're going to point out every small thing. Correct. Find those people for you. When you're preparing, you have to also be prepared of what may come. So most questions you're going to cover in the purview of what when you are practicing, okay? When you think about the topic, you read about a lot of things, you plan to see a lot of things, you research about the topic, and that is when you know what comes under the purview of this topic, and it should be easy. Again, having said that, when you have the passion for the topic, you'll feel for it, and then you'll be able to definitely answer the question. Does that answer your question, Sakshi? I do not see you. Okay. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else who has a question? Nobody? Oh, I see a lot of okays and okay. Yes. Okay. So you guys are interactive on chat. Fine. Anybody has a question? Nobody? Fine. Are we sure? Yeah. All right. So still, in case you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me on my social media handles. All right. My Instagram, my LinkedIn. Also, you can come to me on my website. All right. So if you have the screenshot of this, or if you just write Mevisha Foundation for me, I'm going to send you a free guide, all right, of public speaking. So it is going to have all those checkpoints that you need to keep in mind before you are going public speaking. If you think you will forget any of these points, don't worry. I have like a guide which is curated for you. I'm going to send it across to you for free. Come to any of my social media channels. Follow me there. You can find me on YouTube as well. Follow me. I'm going to send you a lot of help you with a lot of tips and tricks on a lot of topics, in which consulting is a very, very wide field. Okay. So if you are interested to have that, just drop me a DM, and I'd be very, very happy to send across the guide to you. Yeah. Himanshu says, give me any tip to interact to people in public places. Okay. Very, very good question. So a lot of times we are at places, Himanshu, that we don't know a lot of people. Yeah. So what is that one thing which can make you very interactive is to be a good listener. And you would wonder, right? You're asking me how to interact, how to speak with people. And I'm saying that you should be a good listener. Why? Yeah. Because when you launch a question, hey, how are you? What do you do? Let's start with a simple question. What do you do? We tend to ask this to everybody new we meet, correct? When you ask them, what do you do? They're going to give an answer. And when you are a good listener, you're going to spot those points which you think which are useful to you, and you can elaborate on that. So pick points from their speech which can interest you. Say, for example, somebody is talking about what they do, and then they also mention like twice or thrice about their families, correct? Then you're going to understand that this person is very emotional, very, very connected to handling their families, right? So you can take the topic away to, yes, how important you also think families are, and how your family has contributed to you being here today, or any topic that you might want to discuss with them further. Does that answer your question, Himanshu? I can have a message on the chat if you want to unmute yourself. I'd love to know if that answers your question. Great, thank you. How do you do effective and good ending? Okay, so ending, Sakshi, is more of presentation, yeah? So you come down to, okay, how did I end? Did you see how did I end today, Sakshi? Come on, unmute yourself. I would want to hear you talking about this. How did I end today? No? Sakshi does not want to talk to me. Okay. So how did I end, Sakshi? Once you answer that question, I'm going to answer this for you. Come on. All right. I believe Sakshi does not want to speak. All right. Nonetheless. Anybody has any other questions? Anybody has any other questions? All right. No problem.
Hello.
If not, I think, yes, Dolly.
Ma'am, actually, when we begin to start, it's our first time when we speak on the stage, we always have a fear of judgment, like how would people would judge us. So how can we overcome that?
Do you remember that image that I just showed to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Imagine people in their pajamas. What does that do psychologically, Dolly, is that when you don't take people seriously, you're okay with people not taking you seriously or judging you also for that matter. Yeah. Although this is a very internal change that you have to get into yourself, it's a very slow, steady process, a deliberate effort for you to not think about what people think about you. Because mind you, if there is a group of 100 people you are talking to, there's a highest possibility 70 might not like you. So they are going to judge you. But focus on those 30% who are actually, very, very interested in how you speak. They found your session very informative, yeah? And then they also reach out to you. So find those happy faces in the audience who you think you can relate to, who relate to you as well. And then imagine them in their worst. Imagine them in their most non-serious avatar, which is their pajamas, and then you would be okay with them coming, looking up to you however they want.
Okay, yes, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you. Okay, I believe there are no other questions. So we can end this.
Prachi, can you summarize within 2 minutes if possible?
The techniques we discussed today?
Yeah, just to summarize.
Sure, lovely. So
Yeah.
we started off with, okay, always imagine Mahatma Gandhi. Now, whenever I want you to always think about Mahatma Gandhi when you begin to think that you are nervous or fearful of anything that is related to public speaking, correct? And remember, nobody is a born speaker. 85% of all of us are nervous of speaking on stage. You are not the only ones, correct? So we discussed some symptoms that are most common to happen to all of us when we are in public, the breathing gets very, very fast. Your heart is beating faster. There's sweating and all of that. Yes. Then we came down to what are the things that you need to do before, like you're preparing, while you're preparing. What are the points you need to keep in mind? Yes. Body language is essentially very, very important. Now, all this sums up to also give a great first impression out for you. Yes. Thereafter, what is another very, very important point is what to do while you're on stage. How do you carry yourself? Do you need to know your material well? Do you need to scan the audience? How do you think you're going to react on the spot? Have that first minute very, very prepared so you're confident enough to carry your entire speech amazingly well. Yeah? And then we discussed on how to overcome your nervousness, how to overcome your anxiety. Yeah? All right. Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah, fine. Anyone wants to say something regarding the webinar? Manishji, Diana, Dolly, anyone, please.
Yeah, Twinkle, I think it was a very good session, a very nice interactive one. I mean, the manner that Prachi has been able to, hold all us up and make it so interactive. So really good of her. And thank you so much to you for inviting me and sending the link and arranging all this. That's really good. So nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manishji. Thank you.
Thank
Welcome.
you so much, Manishji. And I'm so grateful that you were here throughout the session. Very, very interactive as well. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
No,
And
thanks. It was really
anyone
wonderful.
else who wants to say something to Prachi? Himanshu, Dolly, Suman, Shubha Singh. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am, it was very, very helpful and informative as I am a teacher, but somewhere I'm facing this fear of judgment somewhere while speaking in the meetings or somewhere else. But it was very helpful. Also, the previous session of body language I have attended, but it was very useful. And ma'am, I love your smile. Twinkle ma'am and Prachi ma'am both.
Thank you. That is so great of you. Thank you, Dolly. I'm so glad you attended like both of the sessions so you would be able to relate far more now that we discussed your non-verbal cues and now that today we discussed your your verbal cues and how you speak things. So it is going to be a very holistic thing for you. I see all of your lovely chats as well. Thank you so much, everybody. And
Thank you,
it was
Prachi,
really
for such
great.
a wonderful session. Your insights and tips are really very invaluable, and we will keep in mind all these things.
Thank you so much, Twinkle. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks to all for coming here for the workshop. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Take
you so
care.
much.
Bye bye. Happy weekend.
Bye. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
happy weekend to everybody.
Bye.